Hello, everyone. Just 1.5 days after the winter solstice, we have the Capricorn New Moon. All new moons are about new beginnings, and Capricorn is about creating new structures, solid structures that are durable, that are also good for saving us from the cold, from the elements of nature. So let's take a look at this particular chart and see what it helps us to understand. The chart is for London, which the new moon is at 10:16 a.m. London time. And here's the chart. As you can see, the sun is still exactly conjunct Hygiea. So I could have given, again, a title for this particular new moon that it's the new moon of sacred spaces and healing. And I wish this would be the case. It might, of course, but not exactly. The Uranus North Node conjunction is still tight, but it's already separating. This particular new moon has Mars. The London chart has Mars on the IC, suggesting that as we are running up towards Christmas, there might be some fights at home. So please watch yourself and watch your family members and try to be nice to them. But Saturn is in the first house, and the Pisces Virgo signs are intercepted in the first and seventh houses. So everything in there is kind of put into brackets. Neptune and Juno are still very conjunct. Actually, it's an applying conjunction. And the Pallas Athena Black Moon-related conjunction is separating already in Cancer. There are two midpoint structures. One is Mercury at the Venus-Pluto midpoint. This is not a very nice one because it suggests that the powers that be, the big money and big power and politics, are really trying to either manipulate us or communicate to us something that is important. But at the same time, it could also mean that some news are coming out. And if you looked at the news in these last couple of days, there were the Kennedy files that are still sealed, but of course what they leaked suggested that the CIA was in it. Of course, we knew this all the time. There were some UFO sightings, really reliable people, a lot of reliable people saw them at various points. And we know that there are UFO files. Of course, the FBI has those. They are just not releasing it. And other stuff as well. The Twitter files are not really getting they are not really picking up, let's put it this way, in the mainstream media. And of course, no wonder, because they suggest that, again, the FBI was corroborating with Twitter executives. So and if you consider this, that there is a law enforcement agency and it turned against its own people, then it's really dark and gloomy. And this is exactly this midpoint. And the Jupiter Aries midpoint with Chiron in it. So Chiron is after Jupiter Aries midpoint. Well, this is something that already was there a couple of weeks ago. Now all three are in Aries, the sign of war and aggression and willpower and how you exercise your will. And Jupiter enlarges everything it touches. Chiron is karmic wounds and wounding and woundedness. And Aries is drastically altered outward circumstances. So again, the war may be escalating, if the Ukrainian war. And if you pay attention to what certain big names are saying about this war, now both parties are considered to be trying a big offensive, some really big trick by which they can actually smash the other. So that could be this midpoint structure could suggest at something like that. There are many actually 3 fingers of fate. Actually, one is a boomerang, one is a dissociate finger of fate, and the other one is a regular finger of fate. You will find a number of other quincunxes within the chart. So again, it would be quite appropriate to call this some sort of healing new moon. And at the same time, we know that fingers of fate represent old karmic issues that you weren't able to resolve. Now that they are in a structure, in a configuration, might be tackled easier, so to speak, because you have the sextiles, you have the accompanying sextiles, which always provide potentials. And at the same time, if you don't deal with them, then they will make you even sicker. So that's the problem with fingers of fate, and also with quincunxes. Let's take a look at the regular finger of fate first. It is by asteroid Lilith in Virgo, quincunx in both Saturn in Aquarius, and Aries in Aries. This was there in the solstice chart as well, so I'm not going to delineate it any further, but you can see what it is. There's also a boomerang, and that again was in the solstice chart with the nodal axis and with the Chiron Mars sextile. And as you know, Mars is also ruling this Chiron, so it is a very powerful. It's really powerful, because it simply shows that we should learn from the past, South Node, in order to fill our destiny, chosen destiny. Okay, and we can do this by also letting go of old wounds and trying to heal them, and using our willpower. And there's also a dissociate finger of fate involving the Sun Moon Hygiea conjunction. And the Sedna Black Moon Lilith sextile. And it is dissociate because the Sun and the Moon are already at 1.5 degrees Capricorn, or almost 2 degrees Capricorn. And Sedna is still at the very end of Taurus, and Lilith at the very end of Cancer. So if you take a look only at the energy patterns, only at the signs, then the Sedna quincunx to the new moon is really like a trine, because it's in earth signs, and the Lilith quincunx to the new moon is like an opposition. So that is happening when you have a dissociate aspect pattern or configuration. And here are some transcendental celestial objects. I'm not going to tell you all, because the previous video, the solstice video, has most of them. What may be important is the fact that now Aries has been not just reached by Phaethon, but also Nagasaki. So there are 2 really violent, nasty asteroids with Aries drastically altered outward circumstances. And these 2 will be there in the January 1st chart as well, which I may do. I'm going to have with my London group, I'm going to have probably a workshop, and I'm going there in early January. And it means that if I make a recording out of it, or maybe I will just make an assessment and just put it out for you, or I don't know what to do with it. But again, Phaethon means complete annihilation, and Nagasaki, of course, is nuclear war. So that's something we are not very happy about. And the rest, I believe, was there. Let me know if you're interested in anything that I haven't mentioned. Oh, yes, the Sun Moon conjunction, of course, the new moon is on Ixion. And Ixion is one of the psychopath, not asteroids, sorry, TNOs, centaurs. And Ixion denotes the acceptance of the karmic wheel. It's the behavior that I don't care for my deeds. I don't care what is happening to me. But of course, there's always a cause and effect. So whatever you do will return to you as well. Not because there is someone with a stick to hit on you. It's because your eternal soul wants to learn, wants to evolve. And if you commit something that is not very nice, you will want to understand why it happened, and you want some sort of reparation. So that's Ixion, accepting the karmic wheel, and the two luminaries are there. Okay. There is a complex planetary picture at 22, 25 degrees of the signs, 22, 24, actually, it's not 25, I believe. And this consists of a mystic rectangle, which is the same mystic rectangle that it was in the solstice chart. Mercury opposite Pallas Athena, and Lilith opposite Neptune, Juno. So it's exactly the same. There's also another boomerang. Again, it was there 1.5 days ago. Lilith at its apex, Neptune, Juno at its anchor point, and the Saturn Aries sextile. And there's also a cardinal T-square between Mercury, Aries, and Pallas Athena. Again, this was there in the solstice chart. And you can find two angel wings, which actually this was the mini trapeze that I explained a couple of days earlier. So there's nothing really changed. Nothing really changed. Mercury did change a little bit. I will show you in a second. So these are the transcendental objects. Again, these have been there. Mercury, however, reached two more. There's Clotho there, who is the first of the fates, and Clotho is the one who is creating the threads for your life, the shiny, beautiful, colorful threads, and sometimes dark ones as well, depending on what you would like to experience. Laocoon was the person who talked against the Trojan War that the Greeks left there for the Trojans. Of course, it was a treachery, and Laocoon tried to warn them. But then there came a great serpent out of the ocean and killed both Laocoon and his sons. So it denotes an archetype that I know something, or I suspect something, and I'm telling it, and I get punished for it. Now, this is exactly what's happening all across the board. Look at the news and you will see it. And there's also Hieronym, a centaur, and she is a female centaur. She's the wife of the most handsome centaur, Silarus, who is killed in a bottle and in front of her eyes, and she can't bear the loss, and so she jumps on this spear, the same spear, and dies with him. And it usually denotes unconsolable grief, very deep grief. It's on the map, on our Mercury at this space-time moment. The rest, I think, was there. Neptune, Darius, yeah, Fatal, Nagasaki, I talked to you about. Yeah, I think the rest was there. If not, let me know. And here, you will see the declinations. 2 days ago, I posted a video on the declinations. Maybe it was 1 day ago, sorry. But anyhow, no, it was 2 days ago, and maybe one. I don't know. Mix up the dates. I'm so busy because for Christmas I like to create gifts, make gifts on my own. So I'm making jams and marmalades and chutneys, and I'm also knitting, and so my repertoire comes from orange marmalade till flowers and for my little darlings, my granddaughters. So I'm really busy now. So anyhow, this is it. As you can see, Mercury has already moved back from being out of bounds. It's at 23 degrees 2 minutes on the southern hemisphere, but Mars is still very much out there. You don't see that in this picture. It's on the other side of the globe. But the moon actually went as far as 2718. And if you take a look at the drawing, you will see that the sun is at the solstice point almost. And if you saw the previous video, you could see that its declination at the solstice was 23 degrees 26. So that's what we call for the sun's out of bounds, which is funny because, as I said, the sun defines the boundaries actually, but when it is at its southernmost or northernmost point, we can consider it as out of bounds or almost out of bounds. So it's a little shaky, but you will understand. But now the moon is much more farther. It's like 3 degrees above the ecliptic. So it's really, really out of bounds, really out there in the universal energies and not on the human energies. Okay, I think that's it for today. Most of it was the same as in the solstice. Happy new moon, happy Capricorn New Moon, and happy preparation for Christmas. Have some joy, take it easy, don't overdo it. It's a lot more important if you feel good about everything, and if you really fill your heart with joy, than to find a perfect gift or whatever. Buy a glass of, or first, drink a glass of wine and buy a bottle of wine to anyone that you can't actually give a big present, because it's not about presents, it's about love and being together and being good to each other. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.